everyone, Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and today we are continuing Pokémon Emerald. Last time we didn't have a whole lot of luck taking on the Battle Arena, but that's fine because we're headed to a new facility in the Battle Frontier, the Battle Dome. If anyone is at all familiar with the anime, oh boy, this area had quite an interesting interpretation there. Alright, so right away, before starting off the session, I wanted to just note that, yeah, it's been a while since the last stream of this game, but I mainly want to take care of a few things before we started this session. Namely, if we go into our box here, we can see that we have a brand new Pokemon ready for combat. Stevani is now a Metagross, the final stage in its evolutionary line. Yep, this thing is pretty beastly. Just overall a fantastic Pokemon. Just high defensives and high attack. It's just phenomenal. That and having the Steel and Psychic typing just makes it a really good fighter, especially here in the Battle Frontier. So there's a lot of interesting stuff here at the Battle Dome, as we'll be going into our fights right here, where the strategies of trainers are put to the test. Welcome to the Battle Dome. I'm your guide to the Single Battle Tournament. Would you like to challenge the Single Battle Tournament? Yes, we will. We cannot do level 50 with our current team, so let's go to the open level. Just like last time, we need to choose 3 Pokemon to enter this battle. Yeah, we can lead off with Shanty at first. I don't really know how useful she's gonna be in these fights, but we can test that out. Since she does have that electric weakness, I think having Armstrong to deal with that with Earthquake is good. And Armstrong himself. Sweet to Fighting Ground. Shanty's able to deal with the ground and the fighting pretty nicely. I think we'll bring Beetlejuice in as our third. Of course, we'll save our data here. I now show you to the Battle Dome. Your first round match is next. Are you ready? So before we begin our match, we have a few different things we're able to look at here. So we can see here we get a brief introduction to the trainer we'll be fighting, as well as what Pokemon they use. You can see here it just shows you their basic statistics, and just how they'll perform in the upcoming battles. Of course, you can look at the tourney tree, which basically just shows the whole format of this thing. We'll be doing it in traditional tourney fashion, where it's a bunch of characters just going head to head, and we're just trying to move our way along the rankings in order to get to the #1 spot. It's quite an interesting setup, and you can even look at all of the various trainers on the battle tree just to get a inkling on what Pokemon they'll be using. Man, you got 2 starters? Lucky you, kid. So yeah, I really like this feature of just being able to examine all the different trainers that you'll be facing here in the tournament. It's definitely a cool format. I like this a lot. Luckily with Jillian, yeah, our team should have a pretty good chance against hers. Yep, ready to start. So for this, we did bring in 3 Pokemon, but we can only use 2 in the actual battle. Be leading on with Shanty, and let's go for Beetlejuice as our second. The bright new hope, Haley, has entered the Battle Dome. Round 1 match, Haley versus Jillian. Let the battle begin. What's that I smell? Yeah, already I really like the presentation of this area, how you're in the arena and there's a lot of people out in the stands. Obviously, as you progress through the fights here, there'll be more people joining in the battles. Ah, that's right, I forgot to set battle animations back on. I could do that soon. But yeah, here at the... Before going into this Battle Dome challenge, one thing I definitely wanted to do is grind up the levels of our team so that we are better prepared for the fights ahead. And luckily our team is doing pretty well here. Sure, we're not optimum for this area, but we're at least in a better position than we were when we challenged the Battle Arena. So I'm expecting the battles here to go pretty nicely. Especially because we don't have to do a whole lot of battles compared to last time. Just like previous battles, after every fight, you get to heal your Pokemon up. Alright, you can see here, our next opponent's going to be Riley. I remember them not having too bad of a team. Alright, we got 2 water types and then a ground type. So I'm ready to start. So this battle, considering what we're up against, I think getting Beetlejuice in is a good idea, and I really don't think Armstrong's going to be that helpful, so we'll put Shanty in as our second. But yeah, this is quite the interesting battle format compared to what we are used to before. It definitely keeps the fights here very brief compared to some of the other challenges. Only having to face 2 Pokemon in battle. Although it is kind of limiting only getting to bring in 3 Pokemon and only have to choose 2. Like, if you could bring in your full team of 6 and then choose which ones to fight, that would be really cool. I would actually really like that, but yeah, that's just kind of the way it goes. You have to be really careful on which Pokemon you select for these fights, and going forward, things will definitely get a bit trickier for us. Wish I could turn my battle animations on while we're in the battle, but sadly we can't. Just took a pretty nasty hit there, but we should be good to take out the Surskit. Yeah, one more move should do it. I've been thinking about switching around what items my Pokemon have for some of these battles. Like, I know Beetlejuice could definitely use some better equipment for this area, especially with a lot of my other Pokemon. Pretty much just using my basic setups I've been using throughout the main story, which really isn't optimum for this area. So going forward, our next opponent will be Patrick. Let's check our opponent here. So again, we'll be fighting mainly water types. Andratini. Say we're ready to start. So we'll lead with Beetlejuice again. And I think I'm going to go with Armstrong. I know we're dealing with 2 water types here, but I feel like his defenses will be helpful when we're going up against Andratini. I am perfect. Give up now. Oh man, we're fighting Mr. Perfect Cell himself. Yeah, it's Patrick. Kind of fitting that he's a sailor, you know? Alright, for you, I don't want to fight you with Beetlejuice. Especially considering that there's a water type coming up after this. So Armstrong, go for that thing. Really do not like the paralysis there. Ooh, yeah, that's something. Freaking critical hit. Of course it gets a critical hit. Come on, Armstrong, you're... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much game for Armstrong. There's not much he can... Quick Claw! That is why I have this item on Armstrong. God! Yeah, pretty much not expecting Armstrong to do anything else this fight, so let's just let him go down. It's okay, buddy. You did your best. Alright, this thing definitely has a lot of special defense, so let's go for Shadow Ball. This should have a much better... Yep. Takes out Tentacool. Very nice. But how? I'm perfect! Famous last words. You can see the stands are filling up more as we're going through these battles. I really like that. Definitely shows the progression of going through these fights. All semi-final matches have been completed. These are the teams that advanced. So our final opponent is Emilia. Let's look at our opponent and what they're using. So we're dealing with all normal types, one of which is flying. I'd say we're about ready to start this. Now, we are at the risk of dealing with fighting type attacks, but I think Armstrong and Beetlejuice will be good for this next match. Alright, this will be interesting. Can the feat of a championship on the first try be achieved? Haley has entered the Battle Dome! Final match, Haley versus Emilia. Let the battle begin. Me worry? I have none. Good grammar, you have none. Alright, Emilia, let's see what your team's got here. Zangoose could definitely be a tricky opponent based on what attacks it has. Yeah, I did not want to see that. Luckily, we were able to take one of those, but yeah, we cannot take another double kick. I guess... Ugh, that's pretty bad. Okay, if I can predict this thing is going for another double kick, we'll switch to Beetlejuice, let him take this hit, so that we don't have to deal with that. Yep. And I'm really not expecting one of our attacks to one-shot this thing, so let's go to Will-O-Wisp, try to cripple it a bit more. Oof, going for Roar. Alright, buddy. I'm just going to completely ignore you. Yeah, this is already a good strategy. Since its double kick doesn't work on Beetlejuice, this is very good for us. Let's go for Psychic. Shadow Ball obviously is not going to do good against Zangoose, but that went very well. Oh man, just gotta rely on the ghost with the most. Vigoroth could definitely give us a bit of trouble, so let's Will-O-Wisp you, or we can get hit by Encore. Yeah, that's fine. We could actually end that Encore if we switch out. I really don't know what this Vigoroth has in terms of moves. Oh, it tried to use Up War on us? Seriously? Alright, let's just keep doing this if this thing is just going to derp. Yeah. Man, I should have Beetlejuice in more battles. This is great. Oh, it has a focus band. That's actually kind of annoying. Alright, and like that, you got beaten by a doll. How does that make you feel? Haley's the open level battle tournament champion. Congratulations. Congratulations for winning your battle tournament. Recognition of your strategy, a thing of beauty it was too. We award you these battle points. We obtain 1 battle point for clearing 4 battles. But I say this is much better than the battle arena because these matches go by so quickly compared to they do in the battle arena. So I could see this actually being a decent way to gain battle points. Except for the fact that the Battle Factory is even more lucrative. Alright, before we begin this next match, definitely want to go back here and turn those back on. Alright, that went very well, all things considered. And yeah, we still got quite a lot of time of this stream. So, main plan here, we're just going to be taking on the Battle Dome, see how far we can get. I'm not expecting to go up against the Frontier Brain of this facility, but oh boy, do I have things to say if we do end up facing the Frontier Brain. We're going open level again. And for next matches, Beetlejuice was really dang helpful there, so I think I'm going to keep him in these next battles. Let's start with Alexa. Her being very fast, she can deal a lot of damage to opponents. Main weakness is ground, which either Shanty or Harlequin could be real good with. Yeah, I'll go with Harlequin. And let's go with Beetlejuice again. He was really helpful in that last match. Hang on. Alright, this next battle is going to be fairly interesting. So definitely be going up against some tougher opponents here. Alright, next opponent will be... It's definitely a lot more formidable. I'd say I'm ready to start. Yeah, these two will be good. And as we're going forward in these matches, how about talking about some stuff that's been going on lately? In case anyone isn't aware, it is now 2021. The incredibly exhausting year of 2020 is finally past us, and we can finally move on to something, well, I don't want to say better, because things still haven't really changed for the better yet, but hopefully sometime soon in the next coming months, things will start to get a bit better, especially with the whole quarantine situation. Of course, I still have a lot of work to do, with my current job being an essential worker and all that, but it's all well and good just being able to help out the community in these times. Besides that, back on Christmas, of course, I got to see a bit of my folks, mainly my very close relatives. Some of the more distant ones I had to talk to over a... that's just obnoxious. Sorry about that, Alexa. I could legitimately see our streak being broken here already. Oh, that is bad. That is real bad. Yeah, I really don't see us dealing with this Golbat here. It really needed to get that crit with that Sludge Bomb. It just had to. Oh, what am I even gonna do here? Because, yeah, the Thunderbolt wasn't enough to go over half. It could be damage deviation. I'm gonna have to go with the super effective damage over stab, because that's really the only thing I can rely on here, and just hope I get a high damage roll. Yeah, this is yeah, critical hit! Ghost with the most! Oh, that's so good. Oh man, I seriously thought our streak was already gonna be broken there. Ooh, that's good. But yeah, Christmas was very nice, all things considered, even though I really didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with my relatives I haven't seen in a while. What's our next opponent looking like? Alright, fighting types, and then a Macargo. Definitely know what I'm using here. And definitely got some nice things for Christmas, mainly candy. But my brother also got me a couple video games on Steam. Got me Sonic Adventure 2, A Hat in Time, and Persona 4 Golden, all games that I've been looking forward to jump into. So about that, and just kind of a very funny story in general, I'm actually going to leave with Will-O-Wisp here, because it'd be nice just to avoid whatever damage this Primate could be dealing to me. And I'm pretty sure Primate doesn't have Guts. Yeah, it has Vital Spirit this generation, so I don't have to worry about that. See, I started off by downloading Sonic Adventure 2, because I figured of the games I got, it would be the one that I could get through the fastest. especially with how much I have seen of the game in, well... Man, that's swagger for you. Sheesh. You know, just because I'm really not expecting this thing to do too much damage to Alexa while it's burned. Let's go to Alexa, see if we can take this thing out here. Oh yeah, between the Screech and the Swagger, no wonder we did so much damage to ourselves. Man. So yeah, anyway, I downloaded Sonic Adventure 2 because I figured it would be the fastest game that I could get through, and oh boy, when I thought it would be fast, like, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, and it's just running way too fast on my computer, where, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, just, everything is just going way too fast with it, especially in cutscenes. We are not in a good position here, Beetlejuice, but hopefully you can pull through a win for us here. Let's go for the super effective. Okay. That's kind of a good sign there, if we just KO this thing. But yeah, especially in the cutscenes, like, the action goes way too fast, and it leads to these really weird situations where, like, the audio can't keep up with the action going on, so you constantly have just the audio either playing over the just characters talking over each other and stuff. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know if a lot of other people have had these problems with this game or what, but yeah, for whatever reason, it's not running optimally on my system, which is really weird, especially considering that I was planning on streaming this game in the new year, but yeah, that's gonna have to be for a while, at least until I can figure out the situation with this. Alright, that's already a good sign on who I should use here. I will lead with Alexa, and then let Harlequin take on this next match. So yeah, don't expect a stream of Sonic Adventure 2 for quite a while, at least until I can figure out what's going on. I mean, presentation aside, the game is still pretty decent, all things considered. I never grew up with the game myself, but I've definitely seen a lot of it online from the various channels that I follow, so yeah, it will be interesting to actually... I guess either of these would be fine here. Of course you go for the fake out. Would you get paralyzed, please? No. See, I'll see about completing on my own time and then judge whether or not it would be worth streaming. Just from the presentation alone, I really don't think it would be in my best interest to dive into that. But I'll definitely be trying out A Hat in Time sometime very soon in the future, because it's definitely a game I've really been looking forward to trying out myself. Just overall, I think that game is great, especially from the things I've seen, and it's just so cool what they do in, like, the story and all that. I really don't feel the need to set up Sandstorm here. Let's go for Needle Arm. Yeah, that should definitely take out the Sableye. And then we're pretty much good for the next opponent. Okay, good. I was really hoping it wouldn't be Celio, considering what that thing would do to Harlequin. But yeah, Hat in Time is definitely on my plate. I will be playing it on my own, definitely sometime in the near future, and I can definitely see myself streaming that sometime soon. Probably in February, depending on how my plans go. Like, I still got quite a bit to wrap up in Emerald, but I would definitely love to jump into A Hat in Time sometime soon. In terms of other stuff for the streams, I definitely have a few plans for stuff going forward, like jumping back into Shantae and Final Final Fantasy VII. Alright, next opponent will be Kendra. Next opponent has... Really? You're using one of my own Pokemon against me? My current team setup is going to make this an interesting match, all things considered. I mean, what do I even do against this trainer? Like, all my opponents are dark types, so that means Beetlejuice is out. Harlequin would be fine, but if we go up against that other Cacturn, it could use Pin Missile, which would be really bad. Sneasel would also be pretty bad if we're being Ice type. Pretty much our best bet's to lead with Alexa and then go with Harlequin. I really can't think of anything else to do against this current battle setup. Just an awkward opponent to have to go up against here. Final match, Haley versus Kendra. But yeah, in terms of other stuff going on, I definitely like to work on other things to enhance the presentation of my streams overall. Alright, leading off with the Cacturn. At least I know if Alexa's going up against this thing, I should have a bit of an easier time. Still resists our main attack, unfortunately, and sadly this is not a generation where we can give our... Why'd you have to go with Teeter Dance? I really didn't want to see that. I guess there's not much we can do but just switch out, because I do not want to deal with that confusion damage. Mega Kick. Luckily that's not fighting, but yeah, it did a lot of damage. So all we can do is just go to Giga Drain and pray. Just pray that we are able to recover enough HP or something. Because, yeah, that hits a lot, especially with Cacturn's attack stat. Yeah, we are not surviving that. Sorry, Harlequin. So pretty much we just have to hope that Alexa can take this thing out, as well as what's coming up next. I mean, Thunder would be nice for the extra power, but I do not want to miss this thing. We'll just go for the Thunderbolts, and... yeah, just one more Thunderbolt should do it. Come on, Alexa. I know you're not the most defensive Pokemon. That's good. Alright, Cacturn's going down. What's our next opponent? Because if it's Sneasel, I can see us having an easy time of this. Yeah, Sneasel's pretty frail. It is fast, but Alexa should be able to outspeed. Or not. That's gonna hit pretty hard. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now if we can just get the KO here, that'd be nice. Although it's doubtful. Yeah. I mean, there's really not much else we can do. It looks like our streak has been broken already. There it goes. Sorry, Alexa. Oh, now you get paralyzed. If it got paralyzed on the Brick Break, that would have been perfect. But no, our streak has been broken already. But it's okay, these battles are very fast. No, thank you. So yeah, that sucks, but we'll be able to have a better time of it. So yeah, Kendra definitely was a tough opponent for us. One thing I don't know is do the same characters use the same teams throughout these battles? Like if we go up against Shizuka in another match, would he have the same team? I don't know. Either way, it does give us a good idea on how we can better prepare for these battles. I definitely know who I'm going to be bringing into our next battle here. Even though it's not going to be too bad, considering we're back down to the lower bracket. Alright, for this one, let's lead off with Jerk. We'll go with Alexa to cover his weakness to water, and I think we'll go Shanty as the last one. But yeah, as I was saying before, there's definitely some things I want to do to help with the protection values of these streams going forward. Like, I'm kind of thinking of things to do for, like, an intro as well as an outro for the stream, depending on how things go. Like, I definitely have the resources for it. It just need to drop some art to go for the intro and outros. But yeah, it should be pretty good, all things considered. Alright, for this one, it's interesting here because Pikachu would be bad for Shanty, and the Baltoy would be bad for Alexa. Think of the two options. Pikachu kind of concerns me a lot more, so let's go with Alexa. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what we do here. Also have some ideas about accompanying music to go along with things. Depending on how things go, like, I know that lately Twitch has been incredibly stingy when it comes to using certain music during streams, but hopefully things go over well as long as I am careful with my music selection. I mean, worst case scenario, a portion of the stream just gets muted, and it doesn't really affect my... recordings that I put directly on my computer anyway. So, yeah, depending on how things go, that could be interesting. Right. So pretty much all we can do with this Baltoy is just try to attack it. And yeah, good work, Jerk. Just too powerful for ya. Also going forward, especially with Emerald, I will of course be doing a lot more training with my Pokemon just to build up their levels for one of the challenges going forward, because there is definitely something I want to be prepared for. So next opponent is Adriana. That's nice, I really like her music. So, yeah. So Jerk will be really good here, and last one I guess we'll keep using Alexa. So in terms of other stuff going on lately, I have been getting back into Genshin Impact. Since a lot of the server issues I've been experiencing the last couple of months seems to have gone away, which I'm very thankful for. It's definitely a game I definitely want to be more into, especially just... What can I say? Just really love the production values of the game. It's just a very... It's just fun, okay? And yeah, just overall, love the presentation, love the character designs, and combat is pretty good, all things considered, and really not too hung up about the gacha system so far, especially with the fact that I can get the resources necessary in order to unlock all these new characters and weapons just by playing the game. I don't need to spend real money to get these things, so it's all good. Next opponent is Malik. Sounds a lot like Merrick, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh character I quite like. Alright, so for this one, I definitely start with Alexa. And Eevee Jerk can handle. Yeah, I'm still really enjoying Genshin, especially with the things that I've been getting into with the story. Because I've been getting quite a lot into the first real chapter of the game, which is set in the Liyue province, and definitely a lot of interesting stuff goes down, and I do really like the developments that are happening at the moment. Namely because you get to see these really cool animal spirits, and they just have really awesome designs. I really love the designs of these characters, and be very interesting to see how they interact with the story going forward, because, yeah, definitely some interesting things going on. Still have a lot of exploration to do, a lot of other quests to complete, but I'm making pretty good progress with the game so far. And especially because I have tomorrow off, along with having New Year's off, that'll definitely give me some more time to jump into Genshin again, and just keep developing the story as it goes. Alright, so our next opponent here should be the final one. We'll be facing Leslie. Alright, our opponent here, all water types, so I know what Pokemon I'm using. Yeah, I guess we'll use Shanty for this. Although, I'm definitely predicting Alexa is going to be the better of our two offensive options here. And yeah. Oh, congratulations, Leslie! That's good to hear. So yeah, as well as other stuff involving Emerald, I definitely want to try to do a lot more battles here at the Battle Frontier in between streams, just so I can build up our battle points a lot more in order to afford this one thing I really want for one of our teammates. It's definitely going to impact the future battles going forward in a very nice way. And just the format of things here should be pretty good overall to do, given how quick the battles at the Battle Dome are, as well as how many battle points you can gain from the factory. This is definitely a good option for me to build up our battle points. Especially because a lot of the other areas here are very gimmicky, as we will see in future streams. I mean, overall, this is still a very standard battle format compared to what we've been dealing with before. Even though you're only limited to using 2 Pokemon. Yeah, I don't need to record that match. It was just, I used Thunderbolt twice and that was it. Alright, so our main team has gone quite a bit of action here. How about for this next match, even though they are quite under level compared to what we've been facing here, let's give Quarterback and Stevani a chance to actually battle here. Yeah, we can give Beetlejuice and Shanty a little break here. Just want to see how these two will perform in battle, because I did go to the trouble of training these guys up to actually get them in a fight here. Going open level, of course. Alright, so we'll have Quarterback, Stevani, and who else would be good for this? Quarterback is really weak to ice, so I think having Jerkin would be a really good idea. I mean, look at that, using our starter and 2 pseudo-legendary Pokemon in a major battle. What is this? Like every other Pokemon playthrough I've seen on YouTube? Like, I don't want to get too salty on that. Like, everyone is entitled to play a game however they want, but it sure as heck feels like some people only focus on using the strongest Pokemon they can when going through these challenges. Which, they are free to do. I mean, I've definitely used a lot of high-grade Pokemon in some of my previous playthroughs, but come on, I went into this challenge using a lot of Pokemon that you don't commonly see in other video series. Like, when's the last time you've seen someone seriously use a Pelipper? Yeah, I guess we can use Stefani in this one too. Also, I'd like to say here going forward that I definitely don't have my Salamence and Metagross as optimum as I'd like them. They definitely don't have the best moves they can have at this point. But hopefully they'll still be able to perform decently well in the fights ahead. I mainly just want to get them in here and see how they do in battle. Kecleon here, really not too much of a threat. It does have the ability to change its type, but yeah, I'm really not expecting it to be too much of a threat here. Alright, change to fighting. Let's go for Slash. Could have also been nice to set up a bulk up, considering that Kecleon really didn't have anything scary that it could have taken out, sure. But we really don't have too much to worry about with this team. Lickitung is really no problem here. It's a decent hit, all things considered, but yeah, Lickitung really doesn't have a whole lot in terms of power. And there it goes. Yeah, go play a game, buddy. So, going forward with some other stuff to talk about. I guess one thing I can say is... I already see Leslie and Shizuka here. I already fought those guys previously. So next opponent is Griffin. Alright, I have a good idea on what I'm going to use for this one. Of course, lead with Jerk, and let's let Quarterback take the second spot for this battle. So, considering how a lot of people obviously would spend their New Year's celebrations, that's gross, buddy. Considering the different ways a lot of people celebrate the New Year, obviously a lot of people would be attending parties and stuff, but considering what has been going on lately, why would you? What justifiable reason would you have to do that? But yeah, as for me, mainly stayed home after my work shift. Luckily, it was a very brief work shift, but definitely busy. But I mainly just stayed at home and played some games with my friends. So, my friend Zachary was actually streaming the games that we were playing together online, and it was very fun. Like, played Kirby Superstar for quite a bit, and I actually got to join him on stream for the Great Cave Offensive portion of that game, which was really fun. Like, I do really like Kirby Superstar, mainly the DS remake, because it just is so much better than the SNES version. I know a lot of people have a lot of nostalgic attachment to it, but I don't. DS version for life. And yeah, it was just really great getting to go through that mode with him, especially because I'm so familiar with it, and we just had a really good time with it. Okay, this next one, I think I am actually going to lead with Stefani for this one, and let's have Jerk as our second. Yeah, and after he streamed Kirby Superstar, we went into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we played a couple matches of that before midnight finally came. At least for my time zone, at least. And there were some good matches in there. Just really be good, just having a bunch of friends just coming together with similar interests and getting to experience these fun games together as the new year was finishing up. This will be interesting, because Yeah, Stefani is definitely very low level compared to the opponents that we have here. I really didn't want to do too much grinding with Stefani, especially considering how long it took to train her up. And it's not going to be too bad. I mean, her stats are really good, even at this level, so hopefully they'll do good here. Also, yeah, forgive me if I kind of misgender Stefani here. Like, I know that Metagross is a gender-neutral Pokemon. And even the character that I name my Metagross after is kind of a mix. They're just not one set gender. Of course, if you know anything about the show that I'm referring to, then yeah, you probably have a good idea on why that is. Yeah, at this point, Stefani really doesn't... Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take this dig. There's not much I can do here. Especially because I do not want Jerk to take that dig, because that'll be bad for both of us. Alright, Arbok. Best we can do is go for Flamethrower, and hope we can take this thing out quickly. If it does go for dig, I can go to Bulk Up, and never bite, we get a critical. Woo, good work, Jerk. What? But how? I got a critical hit, dude. That's how it goes. Alright, so our next battle will be against Reina. Alright. So what do you got there? So you got Hitmontop, Machoke, and Zangoose. A lot of fighting types here. Just in case we go up against that Zangoose, Jerk would be really good to have here. I think I'm gonna go to quarterback, mainly just because he's a bit higher level than Stefani, and yeah, I really don't want to risk this. This is the final matchup this round, so... We'll be facing off against Reina in a pretty good battle here, all things considered. Yeah, something I would like to also do going forward is probably train up quarterback and Stefani a few more levels, just so they'll be able to do a bit more against the fights here. Yeah, that's another reason I like Salamence. It has Intimidate, which is just a phenomenal ability. One of the best. Still sees competitive use just to this day, because it is that good. Alright, took that hit pretty well, buddy. But, oh, yeah, we also have to worry about that. Hopefully the Brick Break can get the KO. Yeah, Zangoose is pretty fast. Definitely one of the more dangerous Pokemon to go up against in this challenge. And our next opponent is Hitmontop. Yeah, I really don't want quarterback to take a hit going in, so we'll just have Jerk weaken this thing. Let him go down, and then quarterback can take the next. Or you can use dig, that's good. Alright, I actually got this set. Quarterback can come in, just absorb the dig and go on the offensive. Wow, we're still able to use Intimidate, even though it's underground. Imagine that, just being able to intimidate something even though you can't actually see it. So let's go to stab damage here. Mainly because I don't want to get into a situation if I use Fly, but it uses Dig, and then I just can't, like, land a hit against it. Yeah, as you can see here... Alright, attack went up. Shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. You can see her quarterback would definitely be hitting a lot harder if we got him trained a couple more levels. But I am fine with him at his current position. He still pulled through very nicely in that fight. So we took care of that very well. And we get another battle point for winning that match. Next time, things are definitely going to be more serious. No, that's fine. Alright, our Salamence and Metagross both performed pretty well there. They didn't really see a whole lot of action, but when they did go in, they did pretty well. We'll let them take a little break for now. I'd definitely like to build up their levels a bit more, because they'll definitely be helpful in future Battle Frontier streams. But that'll be a plan for the future. And now let's go back to the vanilla team and see what we can do against our next fight. I swear things are definitely going to get a lot more serious. Open level, of course. This one, let's lead with Alexa, and I want to go Jerk and Harlequin. It's kind of the... It's a decent team, all things considered. They do cover some nice typings and cover their weaknesses very well. Let's just hope the game is merciful when it comes to what Pokemon we're going up against. Definitely what I want to do here is I want to check the battle tree and actually see what we got coming up. Okay, seems pretty standard here. Although this is our third round of this current match, so something might be happening soon. I actually haven't had too much experience with the Battle Dome to know when our battle with the Frontier Brain is coming up, but we'll see. Our first opponent will be Jalen. Actually got a lot of nice typing there. Alright, I'm thinking leading with Jerk, because they can handle Grovyle and Piloswine pretty nicely. And let's go to Harlequin as our second. I like them calling us the Invincible Champion, just, I don't know. I mean, it's a nice title, but considering our luck at the Battle Frontier so far, I don't know if we really deserve it. Alright, Grovyle up first. Jerk should have no trouble against this thing. Can't even land a Screech on us. I'd actually be kind of worried about that considering what else this guy has on his team. Depending on what he actually goes to. Yep, Piloswine, that was what I was expecting. Luckily, Flamethrower should be able to take out this pig. You're not gonna wipe me out like you did at the Battle Factory. Oh, here comes the Earthquake. So that is gonna do a lot of damage to us. Yeah, we were a little... Didn't really have enough in terms of power for dealing with that thing. Best we can hope for is that Harlequin outspeeds this thing. Considering what happened at the Battle Factory, so I have to hope for the best. There we go. Thank you, Harlequin. It's very good, especially because I know that Cacturne isn't the fastest Pokemon, so I'm just very happy we're able to do that. Yeah, these next few battles are going to be interesting. Definitely going to be some tougher fights ahead. So next opponent is Molly. Alright, so what do you got on your team, Molly? Oh, this would actually be a pretty good match if we had... Yeah, if we brought Beetlejuice in here, he'd actually be pretty good here. Harlequin can handle those Psychic types pretty nicely. For the Swalot, though, let's go with Jerk for the Swalot. Alright, this is gonna be interesting. Like, cute charm attract you? I mean, it could. I like both genders, so that's fine. Alright, Kadabra, that's a good sign so far. Also, don't really have to worry too much about this thing having coverage moves. Although that Thunder Wave is not very good. Yeah, status moves can definitely make or break your challenges here at the battle facilities. Did some good damage already. And we don't have to rely too much on physical moves going forward, so that Reflect really isn't going to be too bad for us. Does have Recover, but we should be able to take it out regardless. As long as this thing just doesn't... I mean, this thing probably can't hit Harlequin with any direct damage, so all it can hope for is just to kind of stall us out and try to support the team. But yeah, he went down pretty easily. And next up's Grumpig. Ooh, it's got Fire Punch. That's actually going to do a lot of damage. Oh boy. Alright, as long as we can get a Feint attack in, yeah, we should be all set for this next hit. Actually, if it's going for another fire attack, let's go to Jerk. Because I definitely think Jerk will be able to outspeed, and he should be able to take Grumpig out. He went for Ice Punch. Alright, depending on how things go, that could be better. Okay, good. I was really hoping that we didn't get frozen there. If we got frozen, that would have been really bad. I mean, her Flamethrower probably could have fought it out. Ooh, I wasn't hoping for that. Yeah, Grumpig can get Thick Fat as an ability, and... there's nothing we can do. Harlequin's paralyzed. There's no way we can outspeed this Grumpig. There's nothing we can do. Should have gone with Alexa as my second. That would have been a lot more optimum. Yeah, congrats, Molly. You definitely outsmarted me there. I mean, it's not too bad. We still got about another hour to try to advance farther. But yeah, really shows you how these battles can go. Just you really need to be careful about what Pokemon you're selecting for these matches. Just right quick, I want to check with you and see what you're about. Double Battle Tournament. Could we actually do this? Because I don't think we have to connect with another player for this. Let's go open level. I think we can actually do this. You know, this would be a nice way to end things here. Kind of go, and show what double battles would be like here. Obviously, if we're going to double battles, Shanty and Armstrong's a really good pair for us to use. They'll be really good, and... yeah, let's go with Harlequin as our third. Alright, this will be nice if we can pull this off. Alright, what's our opponent looking like here? Krabby Omanite and Makahita. Probably not the best matchup for us right now, but... yeah, if we're dealing with some water types here, Harlequin would definitely be good here, and Shanty for dealing with the Makahita. But I would actually like to show off the good double battle strat between having my Pelipper and my Aqua together. But yeah, let's do some double battles in this next hour. Just be a nice way to change things up in between these battles here, because, yeah, we've mainly been doing single battles, so the double battle format, of course, just a nice way to close things off here. Let's take out that Ammonite first, since it's the easier of the two to deal with, and we'll just fly with you. There's really not much Shanty's really going to be able to do here. Oh, that is beautiful. It's why I always like having a grass type on my teams. They're very good against a lot of common Pokemon. Speed goes down, but it really shouldn't be too much of a problem for this Krabby. Alright, it's got knockoff. Luckily, that's not too bad. Especially considering the fact that this generation with knockoff isn't all that powerful. But yeah, double battle format here at the Battle Dome is still just as valid as single battles. Of course, you select free Pokemon can only use 2 of them in the actual fight, but depending on how you build your teams, this can be an even better way to take on this challenge. Now we're fighting Jillian now. Alright, now this is someone I can see my other strategy working well against. Also depending on if we can actually get this one attack from my thing going forward, but yeah, we're not going to worry about that until much later. Let's just go into these matches. And yeah, as I said previously in the streams, I really love the double battle format. It's a really great... it's just a really great battle format that adds a ton of more strategy into your different battle tactics. There's just so much you can do in double battles, and a lot of Pokemon complement each other very well. For example, with Shanty's Surf, we're able to strike both our opponents here and do some pretty good damage overall. And then with Armstrong, we can use Earthquake. Doesn't affect Shanty at all, and it also hits both opponents. Yeah, this is a great strategy I like to use when doing with double battles. Having a Pokemon that is able to fly that can hit, just having a Pokemon with a flying type that's able to hit 2 opponents, and then also having someone with a move like Earthquake that is just really good for dealing with 2 opponents as well. It's a fantastic strategy, cannot get enough of it, especially in a lot of my casual playthroughs. And yeah, this will actually make the battles here fairly interesting. Depending on how things go, I might actually bring Quarterback and Stevani back in for some matches here. So next fight will be against Destin. You're destined for greatness, maybe. Alright, know what you got there, Destin. We got Bugs, and then we also got Execute. Considering the fight ahead... Yeah, I don't want Harlequin anywhere near those Bugs. Let's go with Shanty and Armstrong again. Should be pretty good here, all things considered. And yeah, I could definitely see myself doing a lot more Battle Dome battles just to build up my battle points. It's very quick to do, and it's just a good way to build up your battle points. What can I say? Alright, for this one, let's go for Fly on the Beedrill, and let's Rock Tomb Butterfree. Just want to mainly do this because that Butterfree is mainly weak to Rock, and really hoping to actually have a better move that can deal with this thing much easier, but Sadly, we don't. We're gonna need the more battle points for that. That's definitely a move that I want to get soon. Definitely be my priority going forward, is I want to get this specific move, because it is so good on us. And if you are at all familiar with my Leaf Green playthrough, you probably already know what that move is going to be. Sorry, buddy, I didn't use water attacks. Alright, next battle, what are we dealing with here? Alright, so the final, we're dealing with Jordan. I actually did used to know a Jordan. Huh, a fellow Pelipper user. And also another match I definitely don't want Parliament in. See, in terms of other stuff lately, another thing I could say is that, of course, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII and casually just to get a good idea of what I can prepare for in between my streams. Man, look at this setup. We're basically using the exact same team. And things have been going pretty well for my casual playthrough. That is just... that's bad. Not Final Fantasy VII, just what this Lairon is doing, because it's really not good for us here. Alright, the Pelipper's stockpiling. Not expecting it to do too much damage here. Alright, this should be good. And yeah, in my casual Final Fantasy VII playthrough, I managed to finish up Disc 2 very recently. Obviously, the original Final Fantasy VII was split between these various discs that all had added different content to it. But you don't have to worry about any of that in the Steam and Switch releases. They all have it all bundled together in the same game, and you just quickly transition from one set thing to the other. It's all good. And yeah, it's very interesting being into Disc 3, because mainly the main thing with Disc 3 is that that's when you can immediately dive into the final dungeon and take on the final boss. But there's a lot of other stuff you can do in Disc 3 that could also be worth your time. And I'll definitely go a lot more into that when we eventually dive back into Final Fantasy VII for the streams. But yeah, it's definitely going to be something interesting to discuss, because it's definitely a lot of stuff that's going to take up a lot of our time. And I'm definitely going to be showing a lot of that on stream, especially with one of the various quest lines, because it is a doozy, especially if you don't know what you need to do for it. I'll say that much. It is interesting. Alright, just like our solo battle formats, in the double battles, you get 1 battle point for clearing 4 matches. Of course, I don't want to record that last battle. That was something. Not good, but it was something. Alright, so for this next one, how about we bring back quarterback and Stavani, just kind of get them some more action. We haven't seen a whole lot of them in today's session, and of course I would like to get some more action out of them. So yeah, we'll be using quarterback, Stavani, and for our last pick, let's go Jerk. So yeah, Yeah, going forward, I might actually do the double battle format for grinding my battle points, especially because they're very quick to do, especially in the double battle format, depending on what teams your opponents have and what Pokemon you pick. Alright, so our opponent here will be using these guys. It's not too bad. Alright, quarterback, Stefani, let's see you two get some action in. Oh, I remember you. Weren't you that one trainer who broke my streak earlier? I think it is. Yeah, at least this helps confirm that trainers don't reuse the same Pokemon over and over. Yeah, also nice here in the double battle format, Intimidate affects both of your enemy's Pokemon. It's very nice. Yeah, if we use Flamethrower and Weeping Bell, that should be good. Sable's gonna be a bit more trickier, because... let's go for Metal Claw on the Sableye. Yeah, no, Stefani, they definitely don't have the most optimum moveset. It's definitely one of the moves that I can recommend on Metagross is Earthquake, but we've already used our TM on our Agron. I would like to eliminate this Weeping Bell quickly, so... let's have quarterback focus on Sableye, and then we can have Stefani finish off the Weeping Bell. I did actually use our Sludge Bomb TM on Stefani just because it was the only Pokemon that I really needed to use this TM on. So don't you use Sludge Bomb now, that's not good. As you can see there, that is a very damaging move, but quarterback was able to take that very nicely. I mean, we were affected by... our opponent was affected by Intimidate, so of course it didn't do too much, but yeah, once quarterback and Stefani get a couple more levels on them, they'll be really good in future battles, especially here. Alright, snapped out of the confusion there, so we should do some good damage to the Sableye. There we go. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of other games that I'm going to be trying to get a lot more, put a lot more time into besides Final Fantasy VII. Like, I think very soon I'll be wrapping up Animal Crossing New Horizons for good, considering what content I still have to go through in that game. Mainly just trying to fill up my collection, which will require a lot more art. And yeah, that's going to be a process to deal with. But hopefully I'll be wrapping up Animal Crossing New Horizons very soon. I would like to jump back into Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. That's something I've been meaning to get back to for quite some time now. Just really want to finish up this game at last so I can move on to Xenoblade 2. When I eventually grab that one. Actually, let's look at our opponent again. Considering we're up against here. Actually, yeah, I'm fine with using quarterback and Stefani again. I just want these two to get a bit more action in this screen. What can I say? Alright, in our next battle against Joanna here. I don't think I'm going to lose right away. Especially with the Pokemon I'm currently using. These two are an interesting pair, all things considered. Okay, quarterback should be able to handle the Sheldon. Although, that thing also has a decent chance of being able to handle us. And Stefani should be able to handle Hitmonlee. Dang, look at that. Luckily, Intimidate's just real good here. As I said before, one of the best abilities in the entire series. Can't get enough of it. Well, Shelgon does not go for the offense there. Salamence is decently fast, so that shouldn't really affect us too badly. Or you can go for Protect, that's fine too. Yeah, it is going to be interesting doing a lot more of these battles on my own time just to build up our points. It's definitely a lot more we have to do for this series. I definitely wish I could have finished up Emerald before the new year, but just me not being really motivated to do a lot of stuff, and especially with a lot of work and things going on with the holidays, I really didn't have a whole lot of time to dive into this series again, but I am very glad that I'm back into it, and definitely hope to get this game wrapped up sometime around February, depending on how things go. Let's look at our opponent here. Alright, 2 normal types and a fighting type. I think I got a good idea on who I'm going to use. Alright, Jerk, get in here, and we'll go to quarterback, of course, because you were just really good with that Intimidate. I just cannot get enough of this ability. I can't recommend it enough. Alright, Carlo, what you got? Carlo here with his Zangoose and Hitmontop. That's pretty much the team I was expecting this guy to use. So good quarterback just looking so dinky down there. I know I'm really not going to have a good opportunity to actually stream those games in the future, but I will say that double battles look really good in Gen 5. Like, I know that Gen 3 kind of started the whole double battle format, but there are times when they just kind of look kind of doofy. But they definitely look really good in the 5th generation games. And yeah, those are just games I can't get enough of. They're really good. It's a shame I really don't have an opportunity to stream those games for the time being. I would really like to play those games for Twitch, but yeah, until I can actually find until I'm able to acquire a 3DS capturing device, there's really not much I can do. Because yeah, compared to how I was with other games and that I previously streamed, I do not want to emulate those games. I actually want to play them legit. Especially because I actually have the technology to actually do it. I just have to acquire the actual stuff. Alright, we were able to take that hit very nicely. Yeah, we'll just have these two just double team them with stab attacks. We should be able to handle this hit on top pretty easily. Yeah, look at that. Man, just imagine how quickly these battles would be going if quarterback was actually trained up. Alright, semifinals are done. Our next opponent will be Jordan. Alright, let's look at what they've got. Considering the flying types there, I don't think Jerk is going to be too good, so let's go for Stefani as our partner for this next match. I know Stefani really hasn't had too much action here, but luckily they should be good in this fight. Alright, what are you using, old man? Jordan's got Jump Bluff and Swallow. Yeah, I think we're gonna do pretty good here. between quarterbacks Intimidate, nerfing their power, we should be pretty good here. And just Stevani having really good defenses. Right, we'll have Dragon Claw on that, and we'll Sludge Bomb the jump low. See, I knew there was a reason I taught a poison move to my Metagross. I mean, besides the obvious. I just kind of have to wait for that Swellow to come down. Luckily, we should be able to deal with the Jump Bluff very soon, and yeah, I'm really not expecting Swellow to have too much to deal with Stevani. We're pretty good here. Man, this is going so good. I'm actually considering using quarterback and Stevani for the next round of battles. But considering what we might be going up against... yeah, I'm thinking of other things for that. Oh, could you not do that, sir? Yeah, I just kind of have to wait for it to come back down. Alright. Of course you get a critical hit. Alright, luckily this thing really should not be able to do too much to us. I'm predicting it might use another fly, so... or it could do that. Just completely screw over my strategy. Yeah, I'm just using Iron Defense right now, because why not? Alright, regardless of what happens, the Swellow is going down. Really, buddy? I'm just Iron Defensing up, because why not? Yeah, Endeavor is a pain, as I know from my Battle Factory experience. But we were able to take him out. Woo, that was something. Yeah, I definitely want to raise the levels of this dragon and this Metagross going forward. Luckily, it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I do have ways to speed up the process. Cough, cough, emulation, cough, cough. Alright, you two are good, but let's bring Shanty back in so I can show off those beautiful Surf Earthquake strats again. You two are great. Very, very good. Actually, it wouldn't be too bad having quarterback also partnered up with... oh, just imagine that, having the Intimidate off and also being immune to Earthquake. Let's actually go for that. That'd actually be a pretty fun strategy. Actually, I'm thinking of having both... yeah, if I were to use both of you, then regardless of what team I'm going up against, I still have Pokemon that are immune to Earthquake. We'll do Open Level, of course. And then we'll do Armstrong, Shanty, and Quarterback. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Oh man, if we could actually pull through in the double battle format and face off against who I think will be facing off soon, that'd be really cool. Alright, but obviously this depends on how far we actually get into these matches. And if it's even going to happen in this round. Alright, first opponent here is... alright, we're dealing with a Bug Trainer. Not really the best for me, but I got strategies here. Alright, so go with Armstrong to rely on that those bug-crushing rock strats, and Quarterback. It's also a good strat here because those bugs are definitely pretty strong against well, they're mainly physical attackers, so we can easily hamper them with Intimidate. Yeah, hopefully things go good for us here. That's a pretty decent Sapphire sprite, all things considered. It's actually one of my favorite Pokemon from the original generation. It just looks so awesome. Would like the opportunity to use one in a stream, but yeah, I haven't really had an opportunity for that. So Rock Tomb on you, Flamethrower you, and depending on how things go, this could be a quick battle. Actually pretty funny that we're just going up against a bug trainer here. Like, even the trainers on the battlefront here aren't without their typical strategies of relying on certain types of Pokemon. Unfortunately, yeah, this game is starting to go cruel on me since we're facing opponents with double team. Like, I don't want to get too negative about these facilities, but there is that very common statement about the battle facilities and about how the AI cheats here. And especially in this instance, they're throwing Pokemon that have double team at us to prevent us from actually landing hits on them. That's a dick move, game. Sapphire is just trying to maximize its evasiveness here. If we can get one attack off on this thing, we do have this thing down. And we actually hit it with the better of the two moves. Although not really, because Flamethrower would probably do more damage. You're soundproof? Apparently. Alright, who's our next opponent? So you got Kelsey next. Alright, Kelsey, what are you looking like? They're already trying to hamper some of our strategies here. Yeah, Lunatone will resist our one strat, but I think we'll still be relatively good here. Strong, and we'll go quarterback. Hey, this is going to be an interesting match. Alright, Kelsey, what do you got for us? I haven't slept in days. Good for you, question mark. Alright, Lunatone and Crawdont. It's kind of the team I was expecting here. Would have liked to have seen another Pokemon in this formation, but it's okay. Fortunately, we can't rely on our Earthquake here, because that Lunatone will just absorb the Earthquake for no damage. So we'll go with Iron Tail on you, and we'll Dragon Claw the Crawdont. I know I have Focus Energy, but don't think it's going to be useful here. Actually, it could. What am I saying? Alright, Iron Tail should... really disappointed that didn't kill... Of course, this thing has Ice Beam. And we're 10 levels below it, so... yeah. Well, that sucks. And this Crawdont can do super effective damage to Armstrong, depending on what it's got. So, yeah, this is very bad for us. Let's double-edge the Lunatone. Hopefully we can knock it out. Yeah, there we go. And for Crawdont, we'll just have to double-edge you and hope the bat... Never mind! Because this thing has a one-hit KO move. %30 chance of that move actually being pulled off. And guess what? It works. Alright, so that's pretty disappointing, all things considered. Just stay in the box right there, buddy. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for our Battle Dome challenge here. We actually managed to make some pretty good progress, all things considered. And definitely built up our battle points. Got 15 here, which is very good. Still got a lot more facilities to take on. So we have actually been building up quite a bit of money. I have been finding a lot of trainers in between our streams in order to build up our Pokemon's levels. And you can see here we actually do have a few Gym Leader rematches. I did actually refight Flannery and Tate and Liza in between streams because they wanted to challenge me. We might actually see about taking on Winona, considering... Yeah, I really got nothing else planned for the stream, so how about we actually go show off this Gym Leader rematch? And then I guess I can kind of see if I can actually get this one encounter to appear. Because, yeah, it would be nice if I can get it to happen. It's probably only going to take a couple minutes left of this stream, but yeah, we'll just see if we can do this. So our stream here is pretty much done. We still got quite a few more facilities to take on here, but okay, I see now. I'm gonna hit that one first. Yeah, stream really isn't too bad to navigate. Hey Winona, we humans can never escape gravity's pull on the ground. But by striving for excellence, we have the power to soar. You scale the pinnacle as the reigning champion. Please, allow me to see your power at full flight. Of course, my dear. Let's see what you're packing this time. She has a Dratini this time. That's not a flying type, but maybe someday it'll become a flying type. Hint, hint. Yeah, I am not being subtle about this whatsoever. I will say this, you cannot obtain Dratini in this game in the wild, but if you are able to trade one in, it can be really helpful. Like, its final form is the same typing as Salamence, and like Salamence, it's a very powerful Pokemon. A little on the slower side, but it's a lot more tanky than Salamence in terms of its defensive stats, while still being a very powerful Pokemon. I cannot recommend it enough. And of course, she's using two of her classic Pokemon here, Altaria and Pelipper, which really are nothing compared to what we have in our team right now. Good work, you two. And finally, Skarmory, another one of her classic Pokemon. So yeah, pretty much the only major change she went through is that she replaced the Swablu that she had for some reason with a Dratini. Which will eventually be something we'll have to deal with eventually, depending on how our future battles with the Gym Leader rematches go. Alright, just because we have another Gym Leader wants to battle, why don't we go take out Juan as well? Thank you for that battle, Winona. Definitely gave us some good experience. Yep, let's head over to Satopolis City to deal with this next Gym Leader. Say, look here at the Pokenav in case there are any other rematches we need to do. Alright, there's one, but is there any other trainer that wants to battle? No. Okay. Alright, so we'll take out one, and then I think we'll head over to Route 117 and see if we can get this one thing to happen that I've been hyping up for so long because it's something that I cannot recommend doing enough. So unfortunately, you do have to do the puzzle again here. It's kind of the thing with all the gyms. Once you leave, the puzzles get reset, so you have to do them over again if you wanted to do the gym rematches. Kind of a pain. Although, you really don't have to do Brawly's gym puzzle again, since the gym gets illuminated fully when you're done there. Alright, for you, let's... Yeah, between having Beetlejuice with Thunderbolt and Harlequin with Grass, we should be good here. Ah, this gym has returned to its usual state of serenity, but our young Typhoon has returned to put us to the test again. Well, my friend, most certainly. I shall be delighted to dance with you as often as you wish. Alright, buddy, what you got for us? He's got a Poliwag on his team now. And he still has Wish Cash. Luckily, Harlequin should easily be able to handle that, while Beetlejuice goes for the... Or you could do that, you know, be a dick about it. Alright, Wish Cash goes down at least. So yeah, going forward, I don't know how many more of these Gym Leader rematches we're actually going to get to see. Because I don't know if we'll actually be able to get to show off every one of the Gym Leader rematches on stream, at least get to battle each of the Gym Leaders once before the end of this. Oh, looks like he's evolved his Celio into a Walrein. I approve. Walrein is definitely among my favorites. I just can't get enough of the water-ice typing. It's really good. Still has his Kingdra. That thing's gonna be something to deal with. Alright, you can go ahead and use Protect. I don't mind. I mind a lot. Still using Water Pulse there. Come on, man, you could at least have Hydro Pump or... Well, I guess Hydro Pump can't confuse. That's just a pain. I guess another thing I could say is that before... what am I trying to say here? I don't know. Probably sometime this year I may be checking out another Pokemon game for the streams. Like, I know I said before that I don't really have a good way to play any official Pokemon games, but there's still some Pokemon fan games I could see myself getting into, especially because on the Nuzlocke Forums Discord server, I've actually seen someone making a lot of posts about this one fan game they were playing, and oh boy, just from what I've seen of it, it looks really interesting. Like, definitely has a lot of cool production values to it, and definitely has a lot of original Pokemon designs. So that could be very interesting to actually get to play and show off on stream sometime. Yeah, that's definitely a plan for some time in the future. I don't know if I'll get to do it this year, considering what my plans are, but it'll definitely be interesting to check it out, or some other things I have plans for, because, yeah, I would definitely like to play a lot more Pokemon fan games on stream. I did previously play Pokemon Insurgence really early into my streaming days, but yeah, that is definitely a game I'm not returning to, especially considering that I completely lost my save file for it, so yeah. None of that. Alright, just considering he's faster, we'll have Beetlejuice focus on that Kingdra while Harlequin focuses on Walrein here. Or you can use a full restore. Thanks, Juan. Jesus. Alright, that hit did really well on that Walrein. Let's actually finish this thing off very quickly, as long as, depending on what happens here. Alright, you're using another full restore because why not? Yeah, all in all, I'd say today went pretty well in terms of our content here on the channel. It's nice just getting to talk about some of my future plans for things, and also how we are steadily getting to the end of this playthrough. And we did have some decent runs at the... We did have some decent battles at the Battle Dome, all things considered, even though we weren't able to get to the end, and especially a lot of the things that I wanted to discuss there. So, given that we're not doing any more Battle Dome in the future, I guess I can say it right now. The Frontier Brain we would have faced there is named Tucker. And, oh boy, he is quite the character. Like, say what you will about most Pokemon character designs, but this guy, he is out there in terms of his design. Like, there's really no one else like him, and I couldn't be happier for it. Alright, we'll have you focus on Kingdra, or you can keep using full restores! Come on, buddy, you're just making this really annoying right now. Alright. So hopefully we can... Alright, Wall Rain is down. And that thing was actually kind of a pain. Especially because it was mainly stalling, which we all know how bad that is. Just ask King Neptune. I love that movie. Alright, just got Kingdra to deal with. This thing really shouldn't be too much of a problem. There we go. Thanks, Alexa. So yeah, that was actually a pretty lucrative battle in terms of experience. And money. Thank you. You can definitely buy some more TMs for my Pokemon. Sorry that Harlequin had a faint there, but that's just the way the things go. That's the way the Poffin crumbles. Hello, ladies. I see Juan still has you all held captive here. Interesting. Alright, then I guess for the last few minutes of the stream, how about we go see if we can get a certain Pokemon to appear. Yeah, I really don't know if we're actually going to get to see this stream, considering how things are, but it would be nice if it could actually happen. And if it does, I got a nice, shiny Master Ball who would just love to become acquainted with it. That was actually a bit of... little issue with stream delay there, but it seems alright now. Yeah, we'll just search in the tall grass here, see if we can get it to appear. Really, first thing I encounter this route is a Volbeat. This is the rare encounter on this route, so... it's actually really upsetting that that's the thing I encounter here. You know, I should really have my bike right now. That'd be a good item to have. Yeah, this will make doing this a lot easier. Another thing I could do is have a rappel on just so that I could get a much easier opportunity to encounter this thing, but I don't know, I don't think I need it. It's just my typical strategy when it comes to trying to encounter certain Pokemon. Just pick a route, leave and enter it after getting an encounter in this area, and just see what pops up. Obviously, this isn't the most optimum strategy, but I don't know, it's just how I like to go about with encountering certain things. And And of course, if you're at all familiar with any of my previous Pokemon playthroughs, you can have a pretty good idea on what we're trying to have happen here. And no, it's not that other thing that is really rare, but also really awesome, if you manage to pull it off. No, we're hunting for a specific Pokemon species, relating to something that happened at the very start of our post-game adventure. I would actually like to encounter this thing, cause there's definitely a lot I can say about it. But yeah, this is what we're gonna be doing here, just trying to... I mean, what else is there to really say? It pretty much wrapped up like all the topics I wanted to go over in this stream session. Really not much else for us to do but try to get this magic to happen. Hi Meryl, you're cute, but I don't need you. And yeah, I'll definitely be training up the team a lot more in between streams, so that will be pretty good for taking on the next facility. Which, I will say, the next facility is definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely unique compared to the other places that we have fought at. I mean, rental battles, they were a nice format. Overall, it's easily my favorite area in the Battle Frontier so far. I really love the Battle Factory. Battle Arena, it's interesting, definitely has a unique style with trying to take out your opponent as quickly as you can, or at least in the most creative way you can. But, I don't know, it's too difficult for me to, like, really get into that battle format. The Battle Dome, between the brevity of the battles, and also just the cool way that you can actually check what Pokemon you're able to face, between that, it is just a really cool facility to go through. I love how quick the battles are, and you can just really build a good team to take advantage of the various fights you have there. But the next facility we're going into, oh boy, it is quite different from the ones that we have been to previously, and yeah, I'm actually really excited to get to talk about this one. It is very cool, all things considered. And obviously we still have a lot more battle facilities to go over as we push on into the end game of Pokemon Emerald. It will be interesting once the series finally wraps up. We still got a lot to go over, but it's really not too bad, and with any luck we should have things wrapped up here by February. In which case we can jump into even more action. Of course, my typical goal for this series is getting in one post-game stream a week, and then peppering a second stream of something else. And as you know, we're going through Sonic Mania right now, and there's definitely some interesting stuff to go over in that game with the thing I want to check out the next stream we do with it. So yeah, that'll be something interesting to talk about in our next session, which should actually be tomorrow. So yeah, I'll definitely get things prepped for that stream session, because it's going to be really fun to actually get to do. Especially because I haven't actually played that particular thing in Sonic Mania, so actually getting to go over it live will be really cool. I think it's going to be a good time, all things considered. So I think we're going to do another 5 minutes of this, and then we're going to call it. Just really interested to see if we can actually pull this off, because it's weird, I will give it that, but it's just kind of how we're going about things here. Especially considering there's really not much else we can do in terms of strategy here. Me and I've also tried to encounter this thing a few times, in between streams, haven't had any luck, obviously. Because trust me, if I do encounter this thing off stream, I'm gonna set things up so that we will be able to start the next stream session with us actually encountering this Pokemon. And that'll be very fun to actually get to do. Yeah, there's really not much else I need to talk about right now. Pretty much gone over everything I needed to between the stuff that's been going on lately in my life and the other stuff that I have planned for the future, especially for this Twitch channel. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of relax, encounter some Pokemon, and see what we're able to find in the next 4 minutes. Say, I wish your stats were better. And I wish I wasn't encountering Ilamise twice in a row. Not the Pokemon I'm looking for, darling. It's a shame I'm not, like, doing a... I know that a lot of streamers like to do egg hatching streams, especially when it comes to encountering certain Pokemon. And that could definitely be a thing that I could do if I'm really desperate for encountering certain things, but that's really not something that I can do in this game per se. Or at least something I don't want to do in this game, because, yeah, there's no real way I would be able to transfer these Pokemon to an official game, so yeah. So definitely don't expect any egg hatching streams from me sometime in the future. Unless I'm finally able to actually play with a main series game. I'd actually think obtaining a capture card for my Switch wouldn't be too bad. As long as I can figure out the proper format for actually getting to stream the game, that would be interesting. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes in the future. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up very soon here. Really, I encountered another Volbeat. These things are supposed to be rare, come on. I swear I've encountered more Volbeats in this playthrough on my Emerald streams than I have any other time I've officially played Emerald. I mean, that's just kind of how things go. Alright, we're gonna do one more encounter, and then we're going to call it here. don't feel like it's gonna be it. Nope. Just another Poochyena. Alright, I say that is going to do it for this stream session. We did a pretty good job of taking on the Battle Dome. Definitely built up our battle points a lot more, and we should be set for the next stream very soon. So next time on Pokémon Emerald, we are going to test our luck in a lot of interesting fights. Until next time, have a good night and take care.